hopefully everyone stay this weekend, obviously, and we're back in the mode of trying to regroup. Started with the players yesterday. You can imagine how they felt, along with the coaching staff. But we have to put that behind us now and move forward. There's a lot of learning moments and teaching moments we can use for an opportunity to get better as a football team. So I think we're looking forward to doing that this week.
Oh.
Hi, Herm. I know that there was so much talk going into the season about the pass rush, defensive line, the new alignment. I thought that watching that game that the defensive line really stepped up. What were your observations of that group in specific?
Yeah, I thought for the most part, this Tyler defense we're trying to play this year did a nice job at our first go at it with an offense that was pretty explosive, as we know. I think there's still some wrinkles we have to try to figure out a little bit, especially the rotation part of it. When you think about it, I've been in a lot of football games, per se, as a former player, college level, professional level, and a coach as well. And I've never been involved in a game that we had 95 plays defensively. Now, some of that had to do with missed opportunities to get off the field, but 95 plays for defense is a lot of plays and a lot of opportunities that you give to an offense that's very explosive.
Doug.
Hi, Herm. Obviously, Frank Darby's injury yesterday really kind of set you guys back a little bit offensively. Just what are your thoughts on that? And also, do you expect him to miss some time, or do you think he'll be back practicing this week?
We're hopeful that he can get back this week. As far as the game went, it was a game of really us running the ball a little bit more. Jaden only threw, 23 passes. So, going into that game, we felt that, to help us and give us the best chance to win, we wanted to be a balanced offense. And obviously take time off the clock when we had opportunities. Well, how do you do that? It's run the ball consistently, and we were able to do that. We wanted to take as much time off the clock as we could. That didn't turn out to be the case, in the fact that we missed opportunities to get off the field on defense, some third downs and some critical fourth down situations. We dropped an interception that allowed them to score on one drive. We mishandled an onside kick that allowed them more plays. We give them two fourth down opportunities to get off the field, and we do not. So, our whole mindset was to try to slow the game down by running the ball some and be efficient in the passing game. And then when Frank went down, as you mentioned, some young players had to play. And, we only threw it 23 times. And you're not going to, 23 passes, it's going to look like that, to be quite honest, right? When you only throw it 23 times.
Kent.
Herm, the virus outlook by experts is pretty bleak for this fall and winter. You have any idea what the next 5-6 weeks is going to look like? And big picture, how realistic do you think it is that we're going to see sports this winter?
I'm crossing fingers, right? I think everyone is as you sit back and you understand that the virus is headed in the wrong direction. What that does to us, we don't know. All we're going to do is every week prepare to play. We have already seen that there have been some cancellations in our conferences as well as others. We're just hoping that it doesn't hit us, affect us. And if it does, we'll have to deal with it. And we'll continue to practice. We've been fortunate right now. Our team has been in a pretty good bubble. But I'm nervous. I think every coach is nervous right now when you look at the report of how this thing is going. It's going in a bad direction.
Jordan.
Hey, Coach. So looking ahead, we saw a lot of the young receivers get some opportunities, and it appeared at times them and Jaden weren't always 100% on the same page. What's it going to take for them to sort of get that rapport up to speed for the rest of the season?
You got to play. That's the only way you get experience is actually play. And we've been fortunate enough to allow young players to play. I can remember our first season here, it was Merlin Robinson and Butler, and Rashari, and Lole, young freshmen playing early, right? We went through that last year. Some more young freshmen come in and play on the offensive line. This year it's at the receiver position and at the running back position. And some more young players on our defensive line that had to play. So the greatest teacher for experience is actually letting them play. And how they grow from it is important. And hopefully they can grow up sooner than later.
Nick.
Herm, do you have any kind of sense, and I missed the first few seconds, so I don't know if this was hit on, but do you have any kind of sense of what Cal's situation is after not being able to play?
Well, not really. I think that the word I hear is that they're prepared to play. We're prepared to play them, and that's all we can go on. And until someone tells us anything different, that's where it's at right now. I've heard nothing that we're not playing, so we're going to prepare to play.
Jeff.
Yeah, Herm, can you give us an update on how you came out of this game physically? And then did you get any kind of explanation about what happened on that replay late on your last possession?
Well, the replay, the explanation I got was that they had buzzed down prior to us running the play, right? So that's all you can go on. That's what the officials told me. I said, okay. As far as the first question again, I'm sorry.
Just
Help what? We're okay. I mean, we're a little sore. It was a physical football game, but I anticipate most of our guys will be ready to play. I'm hoping Frank will be available to play. I do think he will be, but we're sore. I mean, when you think about it, I think for both teams, regardless when you start the season off, the first live game you have is going to be live tackling by both parties. And I think both parties are probably sore. SC's probably sore as well, but I think we'll get through that this week and get ready to play again.
Michael.
Yeah, Coach, I mean, you touched on the defensive line, but the offensive line, I know a little nicked up and guys had to come in, but overall with the way you were able, like you said, to run the ball, are you feel it's a good baseline start for the offensive line?
I do. For a group that's first time them playing together as a unit, there's still a lot of things we have to do better. We had some leakage at time when Jaden went back to throw. He ran the ball pretty well. He ran for over 79. How many yards Jaden had? 123 yards rushing, right, running. And I told him, earlier in the season, I said, look, you're gonna have to make 4 first downs every game with your legs when you get an opportunity to do that. Right. And you know the story that I always tell him, know when the journey's over, get out of bounds, don't get hit. And it's kind of funny because on the one long run, I think on the third down, he said as he was running and he made the right to get to the right side and he was running on the SC sideline, he said he heard a voice. And he said, Coach, I heard the voice in the back of my helmet. And he was saying, get out of bounds and know when the journey's over. That's what he told me when he came to the sideline. So I started laughing. I said, well, at least you listen.
Garrett.
Hey, Coach, just when you see, that Arizona-Utah game, that Cal-Washington game, those games getting canceled, does it just kind of put into perspective just how easily, this season can be really taken away and just how careful you guys have to be kind of for the remainder of the year?
Absolutely. And I think we have seen that every weekend in college football thus far, right? I mean, before we even started, there were games canceled. You see it. It's not like, a certain conference, you don't have to worry about it. We all have to worry about it. And I think every coach understands that. Every player understands that. We've said it from the start. We're playing against 2 opponents. The opponent you game plan for every week and that other opponent that you cannot see. And it's the virus. And it's out there. And it's headed, as I said earlier, in the wrong direction.
Chris.
Herm, what do you think about how just things operated and functioned overall? Blocking, tackling, getting lined up, assignment soundness?
Well, we were okay. We missed some tackles. I anticipated that because, not tackling live a whole lot, you're going to miss some tackles. Assignment-wise, there were some errors. There were some alignment errors. But I thought for the most part, players did a good job of regrouping at halftime and doing some things better. But until you get into a live football game and with a new staff, the sideline, the operation on the sideline, Zach first time being on the sideline as a play caller, that was new for him. The communications that I had to go through with Zach, knowing that certain situations when we had the ball, fourth down situations, and he needs to know that in the beginning of a drive, per se. Zach, I would tell him, Zach, okay, here's the situation. No one going into first down. If it's 4th or 3 or less at a certain point in the field, you got a green light. So he needs to know that, like on first down, knowing that in a certain area of the field, you have a green light to where if you get to 4th and 3 or less in certain situations, or depending on what it says in the book, that he has a green light to go. So that way he knows he has 4 downs or 3 downs to get to a 4th down situation where he can go for it.
Oh,
Herm, after you reviewed the game film concerning the onside kick, did it really just come down to an alignment error, assignment error? How did you view it?
Opportunity to field it to a guy that, that is a good football player. You talking about a guy that feels really bad, it's him, but it wasn't just the onside kick. Guys, we got a couple things come to mind for me. First quarter, fourth quarter, we don't score. We kick field goals. We only scored 3. We haven't scored a touchdown yet. Now, we only played one game. We haven't scored a touchdown in the first quarter. We did not score a touchdown in the fourth quarter. That's never good. You don't want to start the game out in the first quarter not scoring. In the fourth quarter, you'd like to score points. That did not happen. There were 2 third down critical situations. Fourth down critical situations. We didn't make the plays. There was an interception that went through our hand that kept a drive alive for them, and they scored, right? The onside kick happens to be another part of the game that didn't field it, all right? But with all that being said, this game reminds me of the 2 games we had played previous against USC. I showed them an illustration of the last 2 times we played it. And it came down to the fourth quarter with us having an opportunity to either close the game out or to win the game, and we had the ball. We had the ball with 1:20-something seconds left, around on the 40-yard line. If we get it to the 25, we have an opportunity to maybe kick a field goal and win. So with all that other stuff happened, with everything that happened, we had the ball at the end and had a chance, if we got it within field goal range, to have an opportunity to maybe kick a winning field goal. So you can look at it a lot of ways, but we didn't capitalize.
Talia.
So looking to Saturday versus Cal, do you think you guys are at benefit now that you already have a game under your belt, even though you have some injuries and banged up players? Or do you think Cal is more at a benefit because they have fresh bodies, but they didn't get the experience?
It's hard to say. It really is. They're a veteran team. They have a lot of returners coming back on the defensive side as well as the offensive side of it. So they'll be excited about playing. I do know that. When you've had a bye already and you have an opportunity to play, they'll be excited about playing. We have to be excited about another opportunity to play. This will be the first time we play at home, and we'll actually have a couple fans in there. And that'll be kind of nice to see and to hear. That the fans that are able to attend our game, so that'll be a different feeling than what we had last week, where there was no one in the stadium.
Hunter.
Hey, Coach, I know you mentioned that there needs to be some improvement on the defensive end, specifically with execution and just the amount of yards given up. But can you kind of talk about what you saw from the pass rush and specifically from Michael Mattis throughout the day?
Well, Michael Matus, did a nice job. I mean, think about him. He didn't play a lot last year at all. He wasn't a guy that played a lot. He got an opportunity to start, did a nice job of rushing the quarterback, and we put pressure on him. But here again, I go back to this. I want to say they threw it probably almost 50 times. They had 95 plays. That's a long day for a defense. And we have to do a better job on third down and especially fourth down. Third down, we got off the field. They were about 36%. but the fourth down really hurt us. We stopped them. We stopped them. They went for it on eight times on fourth down. We didn't stop them enough. The two critical ones that we needed to stop them, where they didn't run the ball, were passes. We didn't quite get the job done.
Nick.
Herm, when you lose kind of a heartbreaker, do you find yourself, over the last 48 hours, just kind of randomly shaking your head like, ugh?
Yeah, I told the team, I've been in football a long time, and I've lost some close ones, won some close ones. I shouldn't say that. I told them a fib, because I told them I never had, we had you won, so I didn't lose it. But never won like this for me, that I lost. I've won some that I shouldn't have won, right? There's one particular one that I can remember, but never one like this. It's hard one to swallow, but we got to swallow.
Jordan.
Coach, so looking back now, we know the running backs had a great day, but was there any other position group or maybe an individual player that you were really impressed with on opening day?
I thought Hodges did a great job at the tight end position. He didn't catch any balls, but did a really good job of blocking. I mean, a nice job, just a wonderful job of blocking, be involved in the run game. We got to get him more involved, but the tight ends did a pretty nice job of doing a lot of things. That running thing is important. And a lot of it is set by the way the tight ends have to play. There's some key blocks. He did a really good job of competing at that position. We mentioned the running backs. LV did a nice job as a freshman, wide receiver. He made some catches. He had the one fumble. But for the most part, played pretty well, I thought. Defensively, we did some things that you kind of look at. I thought our corners did a pretty nice job of taking the explosive opportunities of the wideouts running vertically. The guy that hurt us the most, obviously, was the tight end, 15. London did a really nice job of making some catches that were contested. He wasn't running wide open. They were contested throws. He made a couple on some critical moments. One bench route I can remember that he makes, covered pretty well. He makes a good throw. The one that goes through Soli's hands, he makes that catch coming over the middle. And then the last one, he's covered again, and he makes the play. He jumps up and makes the play. So he had a fabulous day of playing football. But I thought our corners did a pretty good job of not allowing the vertical game to be present on the outside. What got us was in a little bit of the middle of the field. They got us there. And we talked about it all week. How they attack the seams of your defense are very important. And they hit a couple on us that hurt us.
Two more questions. Colin.
Hey, Herm, I apologize if I missed this off the top. In terms of going from a 9 a.m. local time kickoff to an 8:30 p.m. kickoff, how do you envision, is it going to be a challenge for these guys as they prepared their bodies for morning and now they're going to play super late at night?
They're probably going to like that because they get to sleep. That was an early wake up for these guys. And they all there. You can imagine breakfast at 4:45 for these guys. See, that's not early for me. I'm up before that anyway. But for these guys, it was amazing. And then to come into the stadium, and I think both parties, the USC players as well. It's easy for a coach. A coach doesn't get tackled. He doesn't get hit. He doesn't have to play. We just stand on the sideline. I commend all those young athletes to have to go play a live football game at 9 o'clock in the morning. That is, your body clock's not used to that. It's one thing to practice. It's another thing to play in a live game. And it was a very physical game by both parties. And I commend all those athletes that went out there and were able to do that.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Okay, thank you. God bless you guys. Stay safe.
Thanks, Coach.